I live outside the United States. I was an American, first-generation American, and I grew up in the United States. I am Italian. Italians are the shortest of the Western nations. As an adult, I'm 5'6". So I was always short, and I learned when I was in kindergarten, when the other kids, that was my first schooling, when the other kids came up to me and said, "You're short." And that's exactly what they would say. They would come up to me and say, "You're short." And then they would run off. And I never really thought of it that much. You go to school and you don't think, "I'm short." I didn't think that. And then people called me a midget. My friends, usually. Maybe there were some people that weren't friends that called me a midget, but usually my friends did. And they were probably tall people. It was probably the tall people that called me a midget. And I was never offended by it at all. I'm not offended by the word midget. And graduated from college, got a job, lived in New York City. In the dating scene, I had little to no success. And I noticed that women often said they wanted a tall man. They'd say, "Tall, tall, tall," and they would put exclamation marks. I remember seeing on television, there was a TV commercial where they're eating yogurt, and they're talking about things that they hate. And one of them said, "Going on a date with a short man." And then they would laugh and eat their yogurt. And it hurt my feelings, and I knew that short men had no privilege in the United States. Women could care less about short men. If you go up to a woman and say, "Would you like to date me?" they'll say, "You're not my type," but what they really mean is you're short. The dating sites, short men make up 1% of the U.S. population. On dating sites, they make up 20% of the population. Women do not date short men. Anyone who says that they do, no, they don't. I'm a computer programmer, and I did some research on dating websites, reading profiles. I don't remember how many profiles I went through. It was 100 or 1,000. It was some crazy number. And it was like 98% of women would not date me strictly based on my height alone. And I was around 30 years old when I discovered this. I said, wow, they're serious. They do not want me. And the other women are not, "Yeah, we prefer a short man." No, they just put no lower limit. They don't prefer a short man. Either they didn't fill out the form, or they will date a short man, because I did get a few dates, but they didn't prefer a short man, and being short was certainly not an advantage. And I put my height down as 5'8". And 5'7", maybe even up to 5'9", I don't remember. And I got dates. When I had it at 5'6", I'm taller than 5'6", 5'6.5". Didn't get any dates. And if I met women who were 5'7", they would get angry with me if I put down that I was 5'7". I'm 5'6.5" is my actual measurement. They would say, "I'm 5'7", I'm taller than you. So when I realized that statistically it's against me, a short man is not going to date someone in the United States, especially because I was also overweight for most of my life. I said, I give up, and that's it. That explains why women treat me so poorly. We are a class of people that is unrecognized. We do not have a voice. 50% of the population doesn't give a damn about us. They don't respect us. I was outright told by women that they do not respect me because of my height, even if I'm taller than them. And, I would say that we are underprivileged, but, who cares? I'm saying that now. I would not have said that years ago, but we're a group of people that is not going to make it in the dating scene. So what I did was I evaluated, well, who did I have success with in my life? Foreigners, Asian women, Irish people. Always had good luck with Irish people. Italians and Irish, my understanding is that they're actually very compatible. Lots of Irish and Italians date each other, and all of my friends were Irish, had a lot of Asian friends. And I decided one day I have better luck with foreigners. If I go to a foreign country, everybody will be a foreigner. Maybe I'll have better luck. And I went overseas, and immediately, first day, I was like, yeah, I'm easy to get a girlfriend over here. The women love me. They're talking to me. They're excited about meeting me, etc. And I lived in South America for many years. I will say that I had dates with the most beautiful women. I don't search for beauty in a woman. I search for personality, which is actually really hard to find. And I dated some of the most beautiful women that I never would have met. That are more beautiful than the average, and they rank at the top with the best of American women. And I had that experience, and I actually did not like those women. I did not like their personalities. So I had my choice. In fact, in the United States, I was rejected 100% of the time. No woman ever accepted a date with me. In South America, I was probably rejected 1% of the time. One night, I believe I got 52 phone numbers from women, and another night, 48 phone numbers from women. And when I would ask a woman for a phone number, she would immediately open up her purse, dive in, get a pencil and paper out, and give it to me. And I could ask for phone numbers from multiple women at the same time. In large groups, if there were 5 women, I could say, hey, give me your phone numbers, and they would all give me their phone numbers. So that was my experience. And they say that short people make less money. They say taller people make more. I'm going to give an example. I was at work once, and we were in a group. We're all computer programmers. Computer programmers, I don't think, have a reputation for being tall. I don't recall being surrounded by tall people, but there was one guy who was taller than all the rest of us. And they said, okay, you got to pick a leader. This is what happened. We looked this way, we looked that way, and we all looked at him and said, okay, you're the leader. And he didn't want to do it. And he was the tall guy. And I fell for it just like everybody else. And I feel ashamed that I did that, where I looked at the tall person for leadership, even though we were the people with the leadership qualities. And I remember my first job, I did meet people that were shorter than me because there were men from Asia, and Asian men are short. And there were people that were shorter than me. Oh, no, it didn't happen there. But in my life, I've met men that were shorter than me, and they gave me the impression that they were dweebs, is what I would say. These people were dweebs. That's what they were. And I rejected them. And I said, and I was blowing them off and trying not to be their friend. And I said, you know what? I can't believe I did that. I've been rejected for years because I'm short. Why am I doing it to somebody else? And it's not just because he's short. You know, if he was a short, good-looking guy and presented himself well and intelligent, you can evaluate on the whole thing. But, the guy was short, and it's not like I'm embarrassed to be around him. I just, for some reason, I rejected being his friend. He was a weird guy. He carried a gun around with him because he was worried about his safety in his suitcase. He carried a briefcase with a gun in it. And we were flying somewhere, and he told me a story. When he flew in, he forgot he had his gun with him because he was in a hurry, and he went through the security with the gun. This was before the 9/11. It was a long time ago, like 30 years ago. So I'm going to give some advice to other short men. Get out of the United States, and you're going to meet women. I left for 2 reasons that relate to people. One is opportunities to meet women, and the other one is just to have a better life in general. Because you don't walk in as a short man and everybody wants to be your friend. It doesn't happen. And I have contributions to society. I'm a really interesting person. I'm really successful. But people just want me for my money. That's my experience. I hire people. I pay when we go out to eat. For years, more than 10 years, every time we go out to eat with my friends, I paid for everybody. And it's not because it was weird. It was because I was wealthy at one time. I'm not wealthy anymore. So I was wealthy at one time. I paid for my friends. When you run out of money, you run out of friends. That happens. It's fact. Canada is a good place to go if you're a short man. Canadian women have a greater tolerance for a short American man. If you're 5'6", you will be accepted in Canada, not in the United States. American women half of them want 5'8" minimum, half of them want 5'9" minimum. All the other English-speaking countries like the UK and Australia, etc., they want tall men. The Philippines is English-speaking. You will be taller than most people in the Philippines. But that's an example of where you can go, and you can live there for the rest of your life because they have a great visa program for foreigners, and the people speak English. I'm going to be honest with you, you might not like the women. They're not they're not easy to talk to, but they will want to go out on dates with you. If you like ladyboys, you're going to meet a lot of them. So that's my story up until this point. Being short is a disadvantage. I wish I had left the United States earlier. I was 38 years old when I finally left. I wish I had done it when I was in college, with the exception of the fact that having exposure to the internet in college was huge. So once I learned the internet, I wish I had been out of the country by then. And maybe I would have had a family and kids by now. You know, in the Philippines, they have kids when they're 18 and 21. They're very young when they have kids. It's not something you do when you're 40. Okay, so if it helps you, good luck.